Okay, hi again, everyone. Welcome to today's vFlyer Sites for Beginners webinar. My name is Dan Lenahan. I am the Marketing and Training Manager at vFlyer, and I'm going to be leading today's webinar. I lead a lot of the training sessions that we do. This is one of my favorites, one because I love vFlyer Sites. I think it's just an awesome website builder and just an awesome application. And this webinar really goes into the basics of how to use vFlyer Sites and build your own website with it. So we're going to spend about 40 to 45 minutes, depending on how many questions people have, going over vFlyer Sites. So I mentioned this before. If you have questions, you can type them into the questions field in your control panel. I'll try and keep an eye out as questions come in so I can answer them. If I miss any, we'll do a Q&A session at the end of the webinar. So I hope you all have brought your questions, and even if it's about stuff that I don't talk about today, if you have a question about it, this is a great time to ask. All right, here's a brief overview of what we're going to cover today. So I'm going to talk first about vFlyer and vFlyer Sites and vFlyer Marketing. Those are our two products or services that we currently offer. I'm going to briefly talk about why it's a good idea to create a website in the first place and some reasons why you should use vFlyer Sites to do that. And I suspect that a lot of you have already created your website with vFlyer Sites, so this may be redundant. In any case, I'll then switch over and show you how to create a site if you haven't done that already, and then I'll spend the bulk of the webinar on site editing basics. So we'll take a look at modules, pages, menus, and themes, and maybe a couple other things. And then finally, I'll show you how to publish your site. So starting out, vFlyer now offers two services. vFlyer Marketing, that's our original vFlyer service. That's the one that we've been offering since we started in 2006. And vFlyer Marketing focuses on marketing listings online. We provide Craigslist templates, listing syndication, social media marketing tools, a whole suite of kind of marketing services. So that's vFlyer Marketing. vFlyer Sites is our newer service. That one is, again, our website builder and content management system. And excuse me, just one moment. Okay. Okay, so vFlyer Sites enables businesses and individuals to create and manage their websites themselves. So again, that's what we're going to be focused on today. But I like to kind of lay out, we've got vFlyer and then we've got our two services, vFlyer Marketing and vFlyer Sites, lest there be any confusion. And I'll just note that the two services are related. So you can pull in marketing content into your vFlyer Sites website, as this slide shows. All right, now, why is it a good idea to create a website in the first place? Well, if you're a small business, it's really important, it's essential, in fact, that in 2012, soon to be 2013, you have a website. For one thing, it's your home base on the web. That's the place where you should be directing as much traffic as possible. Facebook pages are great. In some cases, Yelp profile pages are great. But again, you want to be directing your traffic to your website ultimately. A website's important because it's also multifunctional. It can perform a variety of different purposes. You can use it for e-commerce if you're selling things. You can use it for lead generation and lead capture. And that's what a lot of vFlyer Sites websites are set up to do, is lead capture. You can also use it just to share news with your customers and the general public about your business, what you're doing. So, one website can perform a variety of different functions. A website also lends credibility to your business. If you have a website that looks good and that's up to date, you're more likely to get customers through it than if you have a website that is pretty kind of crappy looking or, excuse me, doesn't have a lot of current content on it. Now, if you don't have a website at all, it's less likely that people are even going to find your business. I know when I'm looking for a service provider around where I live, I always start by searching in Google. So if you don't have a website, it's unlikely that I'm going to find you in the first place. So the credibility part is really key. Website also makes it easier to capture data about prospective customers. This is what I was talking about before with lead capture. So you can have a contact form right on your homepage that people can fill out, and they can get in touch with you that way. And that is not only good for your prospective customers, it makes it easy for them to get in touch with you. It's also good for you because you can build up a mailing list or a contacts list that way, so you can stay in touch with all these website visitors. And then finally, a website address is often easier to remember than a phone number. So www.mycompany.com, more likely to stick in someone's mind than a 10-digit phone number. Now, these are just a few of the many reasons why, if you're a small business, real estate agent, service provider of any kind, you need a website. And it's kind of amazing and alarming how few, or I should say how many, small businesses still don't have a website. Or again, have a website that maybe someone created for them a few years ago. They haven't updated it since. It's really stale, and it's probably not winning them a lot of customers. So, all good reasons to have a website. Now, why should you use vFlyer Sites? Well, for one thing, it lets you build a great-looking website fast. And when we designed vFlyer Sites, we wanted to make it really easy to use, really fast, and we wanted the end product to look really good. We offer over 130, actually maybe over 140 different site themes, so different design options that you can choose from, as well as extensive theme editing capabilities. So you can really make your site look how you want it to look and match your mental picture. We also provide both content template and WYSIWYG editing options. And I'll go over this, and I'll actually show you what this means when I go over the site editor. But basically, the content templates give you kind of a guide for adding different types of content to your site. The WYSIWYG editor is more like a blank canvas. So you've got more control, more flexibility. And so we offer kind of both options depending on your comfort level and skill level. vFlyer Sites also lets you reuse saved modules. So this is surprisingly a relatively unique feature among site builders. In most cases, if you add a widget or just add content to your site, if you want to use that same content on a different page, you have to create a whole new widget or add that content from scratch. We save all the modules that you add. So if you want to add the same module to another page, that's really easy. You just pull up your saved modules list and you pick it out and boom, it's there. And then finally, vFlyer Sites makes it really easy to integrate your social media content, so your Facebook page, your Twitter feed, as well as your vFlyer marketing listings. So if you're a vFlyer marketing user and you have some active flyers in your account, you can automatically pull those into your website, and so they get updated in real time on the site. So again, just a few of the reasons why I think vFlyer Sites is the best site builder out there. All right, I'm going to go over the process of building a site in just a moment. But before you start building your site, I have some tips. One, define your goals for the website and determine what kind of site you want to build. So are you going to be using it for e-commerce? Is the main purpose going to be lead capture? What are you trying to accomplish with your website? Defining that is going to help you actually build the site and make that process easier. And number two, do some research. Look at your competition. Do a Google search for your industry. See what others are doing with their websites, and you'll most likely get some ideas for what you might want to do with your website. And you may also get some ideas for what not to do. That often happens. And then finally, three, keep in mind paragraph length. So people tend not to like reading long blocks of text on a computer screen. So I would recommend minimizing the amount of text that you use and balance the visuals with the text on your site, especially on the home page. You don't want a whole lot of text on the home page, at least that's what I've found in my experience. All right, so let's hop over to vFlyer. All right, so I'm in my vFlyer demo account, and I'm going to start building a website. So I'm logged in. I'm going to go to the vSites dashboard. All right, and I already have some sites created in this account. They're all on this drop-down menu, but I'm going to create a new site. So I'll click Create New Site. All right, we actually just changed what we call our site wizard, which takes you through the site building process. We dropped it down from 5 steps to a total of 1 step. So it's now just a 1-step process. And I'm going to use a fictitious consulting firm in the demo today. So Jan Fraser Consulting, enter the site name. This is typically the business name. It's going to show up at the top of your site in the header. Choose a category. So in this case, I'm going to choose professional services. And then in the subcategory list, we've got consulting services. And then finally, choose a theme. So we've got, again, over 130 different theme options that you can choose from. These are all here. You can mouse over any one and view a preview of it and see what it looks like. And when you find one that you want to use, just click it. You'll get a little green check mark there. And now you can just click Create My Website. So you can actually build a website in under a minute. And in a few seconds, you'll be in the site editor. The site will actually be built, and now you can start adding your own content to it. Okay, so we're in the site editor. We've got our site name at the top, Jan Fraser Consulting. And first thing I want to point out is you'll notice if I mouse over any content on the page, it all gets outlined in blue. And each one of these kind of blocks of content is called a module. And a module is like the building block of your website. It's basically a way of adding content to it. And modules are good because you can move them around. They're modular, and they're really easy to edit or to swap out with different content. You'll see we also have some instructional content below this, what we call splash image here. So you can read through this instructional content. Since I'm going to go over all of this, I'm just going to remove this module, and I'll actually show you now how to remove a module. You mouse over the module. You'll see this editing toolbar in the upper right. And to remove the module, just click the minus symbol. And that's done. The module's removed. All right. You'll also notice that there's some sample content in this site already. So I didn't add any of these testimonials. I didn't write this overview paragraph. We automatically serve up this sample content based on the business category that you choose. So it's both to give you a sense of what the site's going to look like once it has some content in it, but also to give you kind of a head start in writing your own text. But of course, you can get rid of all of it if you want, or you can go in and edit any of this content that you want. So if I wanted to edit this overview paragraph, I would mouse over the module, click the pencil icon in this editing toolbar. That opens up the module editor, and now I can change this text to make it more relevant to my business. And once I'm done with that, click Save and Close. And then you would immediately see those changes here. Okay. I also want to point out this this section with these 3 text columns. This is part of what's called a column divider module. So actually, this page has just one big column here. So it's just one column, but we've used a column divider module here to divide this main body section into 3 different columns, or 3 subcolumns. Now, if you want to change the number of columns in this column divider, what you can do is mouse over this Layout Module tab. Layout Module is another name for column divider. And just click Edit Layout Module. And you'll see here, you can choose from 1, 2, 3, or 4 columns. So if I wanted to make this 2 instead of 3 columns, I would choose 2 columns. And you can change the relative width of each column here. So by default, they're going to be equal, but I could make one 60, one 40, And now click Save and Close. And let's see what happens. So we've gone from 3 columns to 2. And you'll see that the left column is a little wider than the right column. So again, that's a column divider module, and you can edit that by clicking this Layout Module tab. Let's say I wanted to replace this YUS module with a video. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to remove this module. So I'll mouse over it and click the minus symbol. All right, so now column 2 has no modules. I want to add a new module to it. So I'm going to click Add Module. Okay, and this brings up the Add Module screen. And when you're adding content to your site, a lot of what you're going to be doing is adding different modules. So on the Add Module screen, on the left side, we've got tabs for the different categories of modules. So for instance, the Text tab, this has modules for article, if you want to add just a block of text, or an article list, if you have a list of different articles or different text blocks that you want to add. The freeform content module, this is kind of the WYSIWYG editor that I was talking about before, gives you a lot of flexibility. Testimonials, team members, all kinds of different text modules that you can add. In this case, we want to add a video. So again, I'm going to click the Media tab, and the Media tab has modules for photo gallery, individual photo, audio, slideshow, and then we've got video down here. Actually, first thing I need to do is I'm going to go to YouTube, go to VFlyer's YouTube page, and I'm going to get the code for a video that I want to add. All right, so to get that code, I'm going to go to the video page. We'll pause it. And I'm going to click the share link. It gives me the link. I want to click embed so I can get the embed code. So I'm going to copy this code. And now I'm going to go back to the site editor. All right, I'm going to choose video. And now all I need to do is paste the embed code for my YouTube video in the embed code field. And I'll click Save and Close. Okay, so now we have a video on this page, but you'll see it's a little too wide. It's going off the edge. So what I want to do is I want to make that a little smaller. So I'm going to mouse over the module and click the pencil icon again. And you'll see down at the bottom of the module editor, there's a Use My Width and Height checkbox. So when I check that, I can change the width and the height. So I'm going to change this to, let's try 300. And you'll see the height automatically changes as well because we're locking the aspect ratio. And that's what you want to do. You don't want your video to be distorted. All right, so I'm going to click Save and Close again. All right, but now we have a smaller video. It's a much better size. I could even make it a little bigger if I wanted to. But that's how we can both replace a module in one section of the page and how we can kind of change the settings of the new module, in this case a video. All right, elsewhere on the home page, let's go up to the header. So the header is important because that's, of course, at the top of the site. It's going to be one of the first things that people notice. So you want to make it look good. By default, we show the site name, which, again, is most likely going to be your business name or your name if you're an individual. But you've got some other options for the header. So if you mouse over the header and click the pencil icon, you can change the site name or change the name that appears in the header. You can add a slogan if you want. Here we give just kind of a placeholder phone number, but you can change that as well. And you can upload a logo if you want. You can also click the WYSIWYG editor tab, and this, again, is the blank canvas. So you can kind of go wild. You can add as much text as you want. You can arrange it however you want. You can make it different fonts, different colors. You can even upload images to go along with the text. So that's the WYSIWYG editor. And then finally, if you have a banner image that you want to use in your header, you can click this banner image tab at the top and then upload a banner from your computer. And I'm going to go ahead and do that. Just show you what it looks like. If I can find my banner image that I want to use. I have way too many files on my computer. Okay, here we go. Header. Now, when you're creating a header image or a banner image, you want to keep in mind the dimensions. It should be at least 1,000 pixels wide. Even better if it's a little wider, like 1,020 pixels. That'll, make sure that you get the right resolution. As far as height, you've got a little flexibility there. I would say, between 100 and 250 pixels is probably a good range. You don't want it, shorter than 100, and you don't want it too tall because that's going to push the rest of the content down the page. In any case, now we've got a banner image at the top of our site. So it looks nice. Again, if you have a logo or some branding, the banner image is a good way to go. All right, the final thing on the home page that I want to go over is the splash image. So every theme that we offer has a different splash image associated with it. And, maybe you choose a theme based on the splash image because you like it, or maybe you like the colors and the fonts that are used in the theme, but you don't like the splash image. Fortunately, it's really easy to swap out the splash image. If you mouse over the module and click the pencil icon, you can click Replace Photo to add your own image. And a couple things that you can do here. You can upload an image from your computer. And again, you want to make sure it's at least, I guess we're saying 1,024 pixels wide. If it's narrower than that, our system's going to kind of blow it up and it's going to get distorted. You can also click Add from Library. And so here you can add any images that you've already uploaded. So if you go to My Library, this has all the images that you've uploaded to your site, but you can also search through different categories of stock photos. And this is a relatively new feature, our stock image library. So if I go to Professional Services, I can choose any of these images. And they're all sized right for the splash image area. So what do I want to do? I'll just do this one of the glasses and the coffee mug. Click Continue. Click Save and Close. All right, so now I have my new splash image. And one of the cool things about the splash image module is that you can reposition the image. So you can make it sort of place it however you want. And then you can also change the height. If you mouse over the bottom border, you'll see you can drag it up or down to change the height. And click Save. And now you've got a new splash image. What was I going to say? I can't remember. Oh, yeah. So you'll notice if we go back to editing the splash image, you'll notice that I didn't remove the splash image module because all I wanted to do was change the picture in it. So what I did is clicked the pencil icon here. Okay, so that's sort of the home page. Let's talk about other pages on the site. So if we go to the services page. All right, so here we've got the services page. Again, we've got sample content here. This may or may not relate to my business, or I may or may not want it on my site. So I can either remove this module, or I can click the Edit button to change the content in it. You'll notice, too, this page uses a different layout. So we've got this narrow column on the right, which has a business profile module. So this is called a page template. And the page template is kind of the basic structure of your page. So different pages on your site are most likely going to use different page templates. And one thing to note is if I add a, let's say I add a module below this business profile module, that module is going to show up in the same section on any other pages that use this same page template. So let's go ahead and add a module. I'm going to choose Add Module Below. All right, and I'm going to add, let's add a Facebook like module. So I'll choose social media as my module category, and then Facebook like. And the Facebook like module is great because you can actually put a like button on your website, and so people don't even have to go to your Facebook page to like it, which is great. So in this case, I'm going to use vFlyer's Facebook page as an example. So enter your Facebook page URL. And then you can change the width and the height of the module depending on where you're putting it. So this is a narrow column, so I'm going to want to change the width to something narrower, but I'm going to leave the height the way it is. And you can choose to show faces of people who like your page. You can show your news stream. I'm just going to show faces in this case, and click Save and Close. Okay, so now we've got a Facebook like module below the business profile module. And so again, if I have any other pages on the site that use this page template with the narrow right column, this Facebook like module is going to show up on those pages. Now, if you don't want the content in this column to show up on all of your pages, what you can do is mouse over this section tab at the top, and instead of saying use page template section, click unique to this page, and that's actually going to remove what you have there. And so now you can add new modules to this particular section that are only going to appear on this one page. They're not going to show up on the other pages, even if they use the same page template. So I realize that may be getting a little sort of advanced for the beginner's webinar, but wanted to go over it anyway. And actually, this is a good opportunity to go over the undo button, which I think is probably the most underutilized feature of the site editor. A lot of people don't seem to know about it. But if you look at the top of the site editor, there's a little curved arrow pointing left. That's the undo button. So if you ever make a mistake in the site editor, if you ever remove a module that you actually wanted there, you can just click the undo button, and that reverts the change, and you go back to what you had before. So it's pretty useful, and it makes vFlyer sites pretty mistake friendly. So definitely take advantage of that undo button. There's also a redo button. If you decide, no, I actually wanted to remove that module, you can click the redo button. Okay. So that's pages. If you want to add a new page, you can either mouse over the site menu and click Add Page, or you can click this Add Page button in this top toolbar. So either way, when you do that, you want to give your page a name. So we'll say testimonials. Choose a page template. This is what I was talking about before. You've got 5 different page template options. So we'll choose the same 2-column right. And then you can choose to add it to the site menu or not. There might be some pages that you don't want on the site menu. That's fine. You can just say do not add to site menu. And then finally, you choose the page content. So depending on how you're going to be using the page, what you're going to be putting on it, you choose the content. I'm going to choose testimonials since that's what I'm going to be putting on this testimonials page. So I'll say add saved items. I don't know if you remember, but we had some testimonials on the home page when we started out. So those are saved, and now I can use them in this new testimonials module. So I'm just going to, actually, before I click Save and Close, I'm going to show you one thing. If you click the Module Basics tab at the top, and every module has this, you can give your module a different name. So by default, it's going to be, untitled such and such module. You can change it to something more specific. So I'm going to say testimonials page module. And that way I know that this goes on the testimonials page. And I'll show you why this is useful. All right, so now we've got our testimonials page. You can see the tab at the top here, and then we've got our testimonials below. Now if I wanted to add another module, add one below. Remember before I mentioned that we save all the modules that you add to the site. So if you click the Saved Modules tab, you'll see all of those modules are here. So this is why I recommend giving your modules a more specific name that you're going to be able to remember. Because again, if you ever want to use one on a different page of the site, you can go to your saved modules list, and then you'll know exactly which module's which. So again, let me go back. If we edit this module, again, that's module basics and the module name field. Okay. Now the site menu. You can do some editing of the site menu to make it look and function the way you want. If you mouse over the menu bar and click the pencil icon, this is where you can rearrange menu items. So if I wanted to put testimonials before Contact Us, I can just drag it up above. You can also create drop-down menus. So the way you would do that is you would just indent one menu item under another. So when I do that, I put testimonials under services, click Save and Close. Now I have a drop-down menu. So I mouse over services, and I've got my testimonials tab here. And this is really useful if you've got a lot of pages on your site. You probably don't want all of those pages on the site menu because it may push the menu onto a second row or even a third row. So it's a good idea to utilize these drop-down menus. One other thing to note, adding a menu item is not the same thing as adding a page. So if we go back to the menu editor, I can add a new item here just by clicking New Item. And that adds a new tab to the menu, but again, it's not the same thing as adding a new page. So a fine distinction, but one worth being aware of. All right. I want to talk about the site theme, which is, again, the design. I mentioned before that you can edit your theme. So if you want to change any of the colors or the fonts or anything like that, you can do that by mousing over this Theme Settings button and clicking Edit Theme. So when you do that, it opens up the theme editor on the right. At the top of the theme editor is this drop-down menu, and these are the different sections of your site. So if you wanted to change, say, the site header, actually that's not a good example because we're using a banner image. Let's say backgrounds. So if you wanted to change, say, the background color, you choose backgrounds, and now you can change, the color of the page background. If I wanted to make it more red, let's do that. Okay, so now it's kind of a maroon. That may be too much maroon for this site. I might want to use a different color. But anyway, you get the point. You can choose any color from this color picker. Also, if you know the hex code for color that you want to use, you can just paste it into this field below, and that'll give you that color. Okay. Again, you can go through all these different tabs. If you know some CSS, you can also edit the CSS for your site just by clicking Advanced CSS, and then you can add your own, CSS code here. But I would stay away from that unless you're comfortable with CSS, reasonably comfortable at least. If we go back to the Global Defaults tab, if you want to just change the font across the entire site, you can do that by under Default Text and Links, Body Font. You can just choose a different font here. So if I do that, you'll see the font changes. That one's not very good. Let's try a different one. So anyway, you can see the font across the board changes to what you choose. When you're done editing your theme, just click the Save button at the top and then close the theme editor. And now your theme changes are saved, and that's that. You can also switch to a different theme if you decide that you don't actually like this theme that you're using. Mouse over Theme Settings and then choose Switch Theme. And then on the right side, your different theme options will show up. So you can preview any one of those to see how it looks. And then you can choose to use that new theme's splash image or keep the one that you're currently using. All right, so that's theme. Okay, let's talk about publishing the site. So if you're ready to take your site live, you can go ahead and publish it. First thing you may want to do is click the preview button at the top, and that'll show you what your site would look like to someone finding it themselves online. So it looks kind of like the site editor, but when you mouse over stuff, it doesn't get outlined in blue, and you can't edit it here. All right, so if this looks good, go back to the site editor. And now you want to publish your site. And actually, in order to publish your site, you're going to need a site license for it. And so site licenses start at $12 a month. That's our vFlyer site starter plan. And that allows you a site with up to 25 pages, 1,000 megabytes of storage. So it's good for most small business sites. If you need more than 25 pages, you can go up to the Sites Plus plan, which is $18 a month. And if you're already a marketing subscriber, you actually get a bundled discount on any site license. So that's how you would publish your site. And actually, one other thing to point out, if we go back to the site's dashboard, which we can do just by clicking this vFlyer Sites logo. So back on the site's dashboard, down below there's a Preview Site Access section. And what this does is it allows you to share a preview of your site with other people before you actually publish it. So if you want to get people's opinions, or if you need to get approval on the site before you publish it, this is great. You just click Generate Access Code, and that gives you a preview link along with the access code. So you would send these to whoever you're sharing the site with. And on the dashboard, it'll show you the status of the website. In this case, it hasn't been published, the number of pending changes, and whether or not it's licensed. And again, you can choose any of the sites that you've created in this account from this drop-down menu. So that's the basics of editing your site, creating the site, publishing the site. Go back to the site editor. There's certainly a lot more to vFlyer sites and to the site editor than what I've gone over today. I mean, really, we just scratched the surface. But again, I wanted to stick to the basics today, give you kind of a foundation. But you know, the way you're going to learn how to use vFlyer sites best is just by going into the site editor and playing around. Again, I showed you the undo button, so nothing's permanent. You know, you can set up test pages on your site and, you know, add a bunch of modules to them just to kind of see how it works. You can even set up an entire test site and, you know, use it as kind of a sandbox. So keep that in mind as you're building your own site. But at this point, I'm happy to answer any questions if anyone has any. I don't think we've gotten any questions so far. So if you want me to go over anything again, I'm happy to. If there is anything else about vFlyer sites that you'd like me to discuss, let me know. So last call for any questions before we finish up. Going once, going twice. Okay, well, if no one has any questions, and either we have a very advanced group with us today or everyone's fallen asleep, hopefully it's the former. But if no one has any questions, then I think we can finish up. Again, I just want to thank you all for attending today's training. Hopefully you got a good sense of the basics of vFlyer sites. I suspect that you'll have questions going forward. So if you do, you can take a look at our Help Center, support.vflyer.com. And actually, if we go back, you'll see there's a support link in the upper right corner of the site editor. There's also a Chat Now tab down at the bottom that kind of shows up during the day. You can reach us by live chat. There's also a support tab on the left. So you can actually search our support, our Help Center right from there. So there's a lot of ways to get online support. But you can also email us at support@vflyer.com or call our 800 number, and we'll be more than happy to assist you there. Okay, well, again, thank you, everyone, for joining me for today's training. I hope you have a great rest of the afternoon, and have fun building your sites. Take care, everyone.